This episode is sponsored by UPMC Elite Orthopedics. UPMC Elite Orthopedics is proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor Scholastic Mirror on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Scholastic Mirror. It's been a couple weeks since we last talked to everybody, but we're going to highlight a couple of the spring sports here that's now in full, even though it's raining right now this week. But the spring sports are here, everybody, and we're going to talk a little bit about something today. As always, I am joined by Mike Boydum, Andy Stein. My name is Scott Franco, who I did not introduce myself last time, but I still like to think that people knew who I was. Behind the camera is our producer, Dan Eisberg. First thing we can do is kick around some of the high school baseball teams in the area, and I'll throw some stuff out at Mike, and then you can jump into. The first team I think about right off the bat is Central, because of how good they've been recently. And if you've been reading the Mirror, you'll see that they've been scoring some runs, but they've also been giving up some runs. Who are some of the guys that this year that they're going to be counting on? Because people have expectations now at Central.
Well, I mean, first of all, the whole Laurel Highlands Conference, and that's what it is now. It used to be the Mountain League Conference that was really had a lot of great baseball, but now all of those Mountain League teams have joined the Laurel Highlands. So it's a really great conference. And if you look at this, last year, two schools that are right next to each other. This was really neat last year. Bald Eagle area beat Mount Union for the 2A championship, state championship, not the district championship, state championship, and Bellefonte won the 4A state championship. A couple of years ago, Andy knows this, Tyrone won the state title, and then after that, Central won the state championship. So the teams in baseball around here, and especially in the Laurel Highlands, are great teams. So you're going to see that. You're going to see Central, hey, maybe they beat up a team this day, but then they don't have the pitching to go up against someone else. When it gets to the playoffs, it's a little bit more spread out. You can pitch your top guys more often. But when you're playing, if you're playing, especially when we have days like this where it's a rain out and you have to play 4 games in a week or something like that, there's going to be some high-scoring games because you just don't have the pitching at a smaller school like that to have it's not like you have the Pittsburgh Pirates don't have a 5-man rotation. Andy knows about that.
Last year they did.
So you got to put Bailey Falter out there every once in a while.
And I don't know if he could even pitch for some of these high school teams around here. Not that I'm jumping on an anti-Bailey Falter. Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Altoona lost Evan Allwine, correct, to graduation. Yeah. But then they had a nice win over State College to start the season. Then they got no-hit by, I believe it was Central Dolphin. Dolphin. There we go, Central Dolphin. But I'm curious as far as, off the top of your head, I mean, Altoona, as long as they got Turtle Smith coaching, I think they're going to have a chance. But they had some bats out of that State College game, but then they went silent against Central Dolphin. So I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the Mid-Penn this year.
Yeah, and they've played well. Altoona baseball and Altoona girls basketball have been the two programs that have seemed to find success in the Mid-Penn. I think Altoona baseball won the Mid-Penn last year or the year before. And obviously the Altoona girls have had a lot of success. They only lost one mid-Penn game last year in the basketball season. So that's been those have been two sports where they have been competitive. And the baseball team, obviously you want to do well in the mid-Penn, but the big rivals are State College and Mifflin County, because those are the ones you have to get past to get into the district to win the district championship and give yourself a puncher's chance in the state playoff.
Well, I'm curious because I'm trying to put a timeline on, because you brought up Bald Eagle and I forgot about them last year at Belfont. Well, the year you were covering Tyrone when they went, that was the Mountain League, right? There was still no.
That was the
was
Mountain
Bald
League,
Eagle and Belfont's always been good. Was Bald Eagle good in baseball back then?
Bald Eagles had its years, and I mean, you go back like even the last few years in the Mountain League. Like I remember when I was at the Progress back in the 2010s or so. It's like Clearfield, Phillipsburg had their years. Phillipsburg especially. I think Phillipsburg made it.
Them and Clearfield are always good.
Yeah, Clearfield's had their runs to the state playoffs, and I've covered Sid Lansbury team. Sid Lansbury's been the coach at Clearfield since the 70s, probably, maybe even before that. So the whole league has been, and now it's coming over to the Laurel Highlands, obviously, but the whole Mountain League was awesome in baseball for many years.
And Phillipsburg actually won the District 6 championship last year. I think it was 1-0 against Tyrone. And Hollidaysburg just had a nice win over Phillipsburg. I think it was a walk-off win. Kensinger might have pitched that game. He's pitched some. He's obviously Hollidaysburg's top pitcher. That's another team that is obviously a team to look out for. You've seen Carson pitch over there.
He's gonna love this. I go back to like Little League, and he was like, you just knew about him in Little League, and now he's a senior. I believe we just ran his college signing piece. I think he's going to somewhere in Maryland, and it's skipping me in my memory right now. But yeah, crafty lefty, and he's experienced. He's been pitching since 9th grade. Yeah. I mean, John Schittle, how many high school coaches will trust a 9th grader in baseball? I think Central does. If you're good, you'll play. Schittle trusted him. I think Turtle Altoona has put some 9th graders in there. I'm curious, what are the Johnstown teams over there that are real? Like, because I know.
Well, right now, Forest Hills has been good for the past few years, not just this year. They've just had problems once it gets to the playoffs. Tyrone has upset them a couple times.
That year, the Tyrone won the state championship. I believe they beat Forest Hills in the first round that year.
And that may have been an upset. They've gone to Forest Hills and won in the playoffs a few times. And Forest Hills has done a really good job. They even came over here in the Curve Classic, I believe, last year and really dominated it. So. They got to the finals then, I think, and ran out of pitching against Altoona. But they've had a strong program over there. There's other teams, Bishop McCord's been good on and off in Johnstown. Penn Cambria can be good here and there.
Portage, our buddy Portage.
Well,
McCabe. Larry McCabe.
Yeah, Portage is always been good, but the last couple of years, come on, Larry, we need to see a little bit more wins out there. You're losing some of these close games, like Homer Center. I saw 7-5, so maybe got to get things turned around here. But they had last year. They lost Andrew Miko with an injury, and that was tough to overcome. But we'll see how things go this year for the Mustang.
I didn't know if you were right. I was going to let you jump in because the one thing I want to say about Portage is, and this is just from a newspaper perspective. He gets beat, he still reports all of his stuff, regardless, win or lose. And all three of us can attest to this fact is if you win a game, it's real easy to report your results if we didn't cover it. But if you lose, it just seems it's a little harder to hit that send button on your computer. Larry McCabe always turns his stuff in. But anyways, we are going to jump right to, because of the weather and everything, we haven't had a lot of events going on. And with the Mirror All-Star game, some stuff was also postponed. That we didn't have stuff going on with the Easter holiday. So we're going to jump right to our segment that we all love now, and we hope you're loving mine, is what jumps off the page. And this is where I still want Dan to put the Van Halen jump song on. And somehow digitally have the three of us jumping up out of our chairs.
Why not crisscross? Crisscross will make you jump.
No, we have an older demographic.
Yeah, I like it.
I like that. But Mike, do you have your jumps off the page first?
Well, before I get to my jumps off the page, I know this is the spring show now, But I did want to give a quick shout out to congratulations to BG girls basketball team for finishing the job, winning the state championship. That's where we last left the show. They were getting ready to play. Completely dominated, won their 8th state championship, and good chance that team could come back and win several more.
Yeah, they only lose one girl.
That's
Sarah Guy's house.
And she played 4 minutes this season.
And I would say Chrissy Cack's biggest
and
task
almost all of them were freshmen and sophomores this year. That's unbelievable.
her biggest task next year will be just to make them hungry again. And they're staying in single. I mean, there's none of that.
They'll be at 1A, and I did talk to Coach Cack, and they don't have any transfers on the team. So
if they even win again next year,
even if they did reach the success points, which they haven't because they only made it to the second round last year and then won the championship, that's not enough points, even if they did fall. But you'd have to have the transfer, and she said that they do not have a transfer on the roster. So, but getting to my jumps off the page, the thing that really stood out to me, speaking of state championships, is that Claysburg Kimmel girls softball, they won against Glendale 11-1. Glendale has been in the state semifinals the last 2 seasons. They still have the same pitcher, Madison Peterson, and they beat them 11-1, which is super impressive. Claysburg made it to the state semifinals last year, lost a heartbreaker to Union, and I think that Claysburg has to be considered the favorite, at least to make it to the state championship this year, because they have returned most of their players from that team. Emily Cavender is a great player. She's their pitcher. She's their leadoff hitter. Last I saw, she was hitting like 700.
She was just recently the Mirrors Athlete of the Week. Yeah, her numbers are just mind-boggling.
And so if there's a team that could win a state championship from our area come spring here over at Penn State, I think that the best bet right now is Claysburg Kimmel softball.
For me, as far as you can remember, has Glendale been good in softball for a long time? Good.
I mean, probably in the last 10 years or so. I'd say I don't remember them being that good, like per se, when I was in high school, like 15 years ago now. But like, I'm not even exactly sure where they start out at when they're young. And I know when I was in Little League, Mo Valley and Glendale kind of split a league. That was for the boys. The girls, I'm not sure exactly what they did, but the last 10 years or so, Glendale softball has just been awesome.
There are very many girls from that program as well as Claysburg that are Mirror Athletes of the Week. Andy, you want to do your... I know you're excited.
I am
excited. Want to rename this segment called What's My Beef? What's Bothering Andy Stein? But we don't want to do that yet.
We're just going to call it something. Hey, I'm just saying. It's hard enough to play games in April, as you can see right out here. I don't know why we scheduled games in the middle of March. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, not that I want to...
we won't name names.
Yeah, well, there was a baseball game last Thursday. The final score was 32-16.
What?
More of a football score, if you ask me. But hey, when you have 39 hits, 15 errors, 15 walks in one game, that kind of jumps off the page at you.
And we'll say the teams without it was Forest Hills defeated Penn Cambria.
I don't want to dump on Penn Cambria.
I wrote that story up and everything, and I actually had my calculator. I think smoke was coming for it as I was trying to get all the stuff out of it. Mike would like to add it.
Let me just say, so 32-16 baseball game. The final score of the BG State Championship was 35-17.
The week before, yeah.
So that's
and I think Penn Cambria did play a game the day before and everything. Yeah. But yeah, you just don't get...
As we alluded to earlier, some days you just don't have pitching.
Yeah. I know how much Mike loves baseball. When he came into work that night, I literally printed out the email with the sheet and I just gave it to him like that. I said, look at this box score. And it was just, I'm 58 years old. I can't remember too many baseball box scores.
I think I just came back from the Mirror Classic Girls game.
I showed it to my wife.
I was like, what? Is that real?
That's one of those games that if you're actually keeping the book, you've gone so many columns over.
That would kill me.
And
that would
absolutely
kill my book.
That, you run out of slots to...
You tear the page out of the next sheet and you kind of
You might need 3 books. You might need 3.
Yeah. Well, my jumps off the page here. I'm going to do track and field. A young man from Holliesburg, Isaac Yarnell. He broke the school record in the 200-meter run. 22.17 seconds. It was in a meet with Penn Cambria and Portage. I'm not sure if Portage came because it was a make it rain. But what's impressive about this, He sets a school record with that time, 22.17, and he didn't win the race in the 200. It was won by a young man from Penn Cambria, Josh Stolarski, who Mike will tell you.
Yeah, last year he won the state championship in the 400. Kid's an incredible athlete, and he just got better as the year went on last year. So it'll be interesting to see what he can achieve this year. Just he doesn't look like your typical runner. The guy is really built.
Isaac's a little guy. He used to return. He played football. He would return kicks, and he was a running back. But yeah, the Stolarski kid, did he do any hurdles or anything like that? I just remember him.
He's a sprinter, and he does do jumping events.
Yeah, jumping event. Yeah, Mike's right. He's not built. Like, Isaac's like a little guy. Well, he's smaller than Stolarski.
Yeah, when I've seen Stolarski in the past, I've just wondered, like, geez, Nick Felis probably wished he would have came out for football. I'm surprised you haven't gotten him on for that. I know Scott's always pushing for
I do. Every time I see that, I think, can he play football? Can he play? But Isaac Yarnell, again, 22.17 seconds. He broke the record. His coach, Adam Olery, had the record in 1998. He tied with Gary Steiner, whose grandkids now, not Stein, but Steiner. Gary Steiner set the record in Hollidaysburg. Coach Olery tied it in 1998, and Olery's been coaching track 18 years and says that Isaac is just one of the best kids he's ever coached. And, I mean, Hollidaysburg always has great numbers for their boys track and field, but this kid, in fact, I don't think Isaac even plays football anymore. I think he's just focusing on track. But I would just think that Homer Delattre would love to still have this kid returning punts and kicks. But that's my jumps out. Shout out to Isaac Yarnell, whose mom is a Miami Dolphins fan. Little known fact, because I knew that from Booster Club back in my days football. Just one of those useless.
How is that the second Miami Dolphins reference?
I'm such a baby that the Dolphins make me cry.
Central Dolphin.
It's that draft coming up. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. But that's what it is, because we were worried we wouldn't even get 5 minutes today because the weather and everything and the holidays just really pilfered us of information. But that's going to do it for Andy Stein, for Mike Boyden, for Dan Eisberg behind the camera. I'm Scott Franco. We will see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care.